Hello, it's me again. Today I want to talk about my love for Disney. I want to share with you the reason why I may seem very obsessed with Disney. So, Disney is obviously my favorite animation studios, and lots of my favorite movies. There are Disney movies from Bambi and The Lion King, and also Mulan, Tarzan, especially the Disney Renaissance movies. They are some of my ultimate favorite movies that I can watch over and over and over again. 101 Dalmatians, Masterpiece, lots and lots of Disney movies in the Disney Classics, the Walt Disney Animation Studios movies line. I really, really love those movies, and I made tons of videos concerning Disney movies, be it unboxing videos of the new video CDs or Blu-ray or even VHS that I purchased of those Disney movies, or comparison videos, or even my top 10 list. So at a point in my life, I think back in the mid 2010s, I made videos, top 10 countdown, and one of the topics is Disney movies. I think the best Disney climax um, of Disney movies. And I talk a lot about Disney collectibles and different packages, different format, and also the rare items for Disney movies in my region in Indonesia. So that created some sort of a question also from my friends offline. They're asking, why are you being so obsessed with Disney movies? When I was asked about the my favorite animation, what do you think is the best animation out there? My answer is always going to be Sleeping Beauty by Walt Disney, of course, because I think Sleeping Beauty is the most perfect animation ever created because it's just so perfect. But a lot of people, they will just sneer, and because first I'm a guy, I'm an adult person, and then I'm still saying that my favorite animation is Sleeping Beauty. It's just because I fall in love with the style, with everything about that movie, especially the style, the background by Ivan Earl, just so gorgeous, just so amazing. So I think Sleeping Beauty is the pinnacle of 2D animation. This is just the bar that was created by Sleeping Beauty is just over there, up very very high. That nearly none of the animations prior or after could top that one. So starting from question like that, I decided to just perhaps share my story and telling the reason why I am so, well, people can say that I'm so obsessed with Disney movies, more than DreamWorks or even Ghibli Studios. My biggest number one, most favorite movies, animation is always going to be the Disney animation, Disney movies. And even lately, when I give negative reviews to the newer Disney movies, that does not mean that I hate the Walt Disney Studios and the Walt Disney Animation, but because I love it so much that I do not want to see it fail. So I provide my criticism to the Walt Disney Company and the movies. So if we're going to go deeper into the personal reason why feel, I am so in love with Disney animation is because of the rarity of it. So going back to the late 90s and early 2000s, it was very difficult to watch Disney movies in Indonesia for people my age and people my class. Disney movies, it was so difficult to acquire. And so when I look at this VHS tape of 101 Dalmatians, inside, yeah, that's the tape, and inside you can find this image of a family watching the movies together on the couch, in living room, watching those Disney collections, and you probably remember vividly about the Disney Vault. So that's what I had in my mind about the Disney. It's so exclusive. It's not easy to find. It's not everybody can watch Disney movies. So even when it comes to national TV, they would air movies from Nickelodeon, and also I think movies like this one, An American Tail. They will often play this movie, and also Land Before Time and Thumbelina. A lot of Don Bluth movies, and also a lot of Amblin animation movies like Balto and the sequels. They would play that on national television, but never the Walt Disney movies. So I've never seen The Lion King. I've never seen Bambi. I've never seen Cinderella. Those movies probably up until um, fifth or sixth grade of elementary school. The movies that were aired on national TV during holidays were movies like this one, and also movies like Rugrats, Nickelodeon movies. There's just a lot of Nickelodeon movies aired, and also the series, the Wild Thornberry series, and also perhaps this one, um, SpongeBob series. It was very accessible. Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, they were very accessible, but not Disney. It's always so difficult to watch a Disney movie and to wait for a Disney movie to air on national television. It's just like, I don't know, it's just you're trying to find water in the desert. It's so difficult. And you probably ask, why not DreamWorks? Well, they air DreamWorks movies more often than Disney movies in Indonesia. And to be frank, back in 2001, when Shrek was brand new, I was a little scared to watch Shrek. I don't know. It's a beloved movie, and a lot of people love this movie, and I do like it now. But back then, when I was in first grade, to even look at Shrek, it's scary. I was scared by Shrek. Yeah, and also the DreamWorks animation movies at that time, the catalog, it was not as robust as the Disney catalog. So probably Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas. Yeah, I wanted to watch that, and also Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, which is also my one of my favorite animation, if not the most like my personal favorite one in terms of the true feelings. When I said Sleeping Beauty is my favorite, is that I also take a look at the technical specification, and also the those other aspects, objective aspects, which I dare to say that objectively speaking, Sleeping Beauty, Disney Sleeping Beauty is much, much better than Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. But personally speaking, if I must pick one that is really, really close to my heart, I would choose Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, which is a DreamWorks animation movie. But back then, the catalog for DreamWorks, it wasn't so many. So like The Prince of Egypt and Ants, those movies were aired on national television, but not the Disney movies. So the Disney Vault, when you watch Disney DVDs or video CDs and then they advertise the Disney Vault, it truly was like, it was very elusive to find a Disney movies. The only way to watch Disney movies at the time is if you buy the physical media. Ideally, you need the real video CDs, because it's very difficult to find a bootleg video CD copy of Disney movies that are in a very, very good condition. I mean, the image quality, they would not be really, really good. Like those advertised in the fake versus real Disney DVDs, they look like that when you buy Disney video CDs, the bootleg versions of the movie. So it's very difficult to watch these movies. You need to buy the real video CDs, and DVDs would be too expensive. So video CDs, or you need to have cable. You need to have cable TV connected to the satellite to watch Disney Channel, so you can watch Disney movies. If you do not have those, then you can't watch Disney movies. So it's very, very inaccessible. So only some of my friends who were at the time very, very wealthy, they could afford to buy a lot of real video CDs, Disney video CDs, and also they could subscribe to the cable, and they got Disney Channel, which I couldn't because I'm not wealthy. So looking at the promotional materials from Disney, I could only, imagine, fantasize of watching Disney movies. I used to collect this type of Disney book, Disney picture book. This one, the sample is 102 Dalmatians. But I would stare at the images on the first page, that images the pictures of Cinderella, and then Snow White, 101 Dalmatians, The Lion King, Aladdin, and also in the back cover there are more images. You can see over there Bambi and Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, and then Alice in Wonderland and Fox and the Hound. Up until the point when I purchased this one in the mid 2000, I've never seen any of those movies. So I really, really wanted to watch those movies, but I simply couldn't because the access is not there. It's inaccessible. The only way I could watch Disney movies it was through this series, and that's not really a way to watch the Disney movies. These are the Disney educational program for children to learn English, and I must admit, English is not my um, mother language, not my first language, but I owe a lot to Disney programs because I learned so much from these types of programming, and also the bootleg Disney video CDs at the time. When I watched Tarzan on a bootleg video CD, I watched The Jungle Book 2. It was brand new, believe it or not. The Jungle Book 2 was aired on, it was released on theaters, in select theaters. We all know that it's Disney sequels that would normally go direct to a video and direct to DVD, but they did release the Jungle Book 2 on in theaters. So the bootleg copy of the Jungle Book 2 that I got, it has people going, the silhouette, the shadow of people going in and out of the theater, and also when they were laughing, I could hear the laughter and those things. And also, I think Peter Pan in Return to Neverland was also released on the theater. I remember reading the magazine, the Donald Duck magazine at the time, and it advertised the movie Peter Pan Return to Neverland. I've never seen the first one, but looking at the images of Peter Pan and Wendy, and I think it wasn't Wendy, it was Jane and the Lost Boys. Oh boy, I really really wanted to watch the movie. But yeah, it's called Magic English. It shows clips from the movie. I got like this one, volume 23 and 24, and these are bootleg. I must tell you, these are bootleg versions of Magic English, and thank God this still plays to this day. So I got this one, and I got this one of my favorite, because I can see animals. Being in first grade, to be able to see this, it was just amazing. And that I can see the clips from Peter Pan and the Rescuers. I can see the clips from Robin Hood. It was just fascinating to me. I can see the clips of the Jungle Book. It was a very very fun experience, very very fun clips. And then yeah, that one. So this one, volume 7 and 8. Yeah, these are educational materials. Of course, I can't watch the entire Disney movies. They're just the program just takes several clips from the movie that has something to do with the unit of the training for that volume. For example, it talks about this volume 3 talks about friends, and so they got clips from The Little Mermaid, because Ariel has lots of friends, Sebastian and Flounder, and also there are clips from The Fox and the Hound, Todd and Copper, and there are clips from The Lion King, because Hakuna Matata, Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba. But I couldn't watch the entire a movie, and looking at those clips, being someone in the early grades of school and only had access to Nickelodeon movies at the time, SpongeBob and Cartoon Network movies and shows, Powerpuff Girls, and Danny Phantom, and the Rugrats, the Wild Thornberries. I really really love those. Don't get me wrong, but there is something about the Disney image, the Disney style, animation style, that looks so gorgeous, that looks so much more realistic compared to Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. Comparing Cat and Dogs, let's say the Wild Thornberrys and the Lion King is just a huge difference in terms of styling. When I look at the images of the Lion King with Simba and then Mufasa, those animals, those creatures, they look so exclusive to me. They look so wonderful, so brilliant. I mean, comparing the images from the Wild Thornberrys, when you see the animals there, it certainly it's less realistic compared to Disney animals from the Lion King, obviously Bambi, and so the Fox and the Hound. Those Disney movies showcasing animals, 101 Dalmatians. They look much more realistic, and it looks like there's this high level of seriousness that's being poured into the making of those movies, and I really adore the animation style of Disney. When I was in early elementary school, not early, probably I was in fifth grade, I got bullied quite a lot because I adore the Disney princess, Snow White, and also Cinderella, and also the Princess Aurora, because I really love the style. When I look at Rugrats, those human beings, those human characters in that movie, Rugrats, The Simpsons, even the anime ones, when I was back then, it was Crayon Shin-chan. It was very popular, and also probably Doraemon. It was very popular also, and even Detective Conan. I like those anime, but still, the the image. When I talk about Detective Conan and we see Ran Mori, comparing Ran Mori with Princess Aurora, I was like, oh, the design of the princess is just so lifelike and just so realistic, but at the same time, it's so dreamy. The image of Belle, it was just everything is just wonderful. But because of that, I got bullied a lot because, oh, look at this guy, he likes Disney princess. Little did they really know that I really love the style of the Disney animation, and it's not just limited to the Disney princess, but also the entire thing. It was just amazing and ended up shaping the way I look at artwork, the way I myself create artwork. It's shaped by Disney movies, Disney animation. So during that time, because there's no access to the Disney movies, it was very difficult to watch Disney movies. Again, this is the case in my country, in Indonesia. We're not talking about the United States or UK or Canada or Paris or other places. We're talking about Indonesia at the time. It was most of us at the time, perhaps people my age at that time, most of us got exposed to the good times entertainment or jet lag production animation for Hercules, for Snow White, for Cinderella, those cheap direct to video animations that people now consider as a knockoff of the Disney movies, even though they're actually based on the fairy tales rather than based on the Disney movies. But those are our first exposure to those fairy tales. So comparing the jet lag animation studios Snow White to the Walt Disney one is just very different. The quality is just so different, and I really want to experience the entire Walt Disney catalog at that time, which it was so very difficult. It's very difficult to find the items, the movies. They do not air on national television, and the price of admission, if you want to go down and buy the physical media, is going to be very expensive. Or you need cable. You need a you need a wealthy parent if you want to be able to do that. So having these some sort of limitations, huge limitations for Disney, just create, just makes my obsession with Disney grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and I really love reading books about Walt Disney, the person, like this one. It's a biography in the form of a comic book. It's a graphic biography about Walt Disney, And also this one, I collect this one back then. It belongs to the series of the world influential figures. One of them is Walt Disney. It's number 25. And I really, really like reading this one. I think I read this more than once simply because I'm so inspired by Walt Disney and by his works, his movies. But still, I could only fantasize watching those movies because of the vault. It was those movies were locked deep in the vault, so I dived deeper into more of the Walt Disney works. I saved for weeks and weeks and weeks to be able to afford this book back in, I don't know, when did I purchase this one? I think I bought this in 2008. Yeah, I bought this one on 14th of November 2008. Imagine that. I was in junior high at that time. This is a storybook, but to be frank, I didn't buy this because of the stories. I purchased this one because of the images, because I could see the images of the Great Mouse Detective. I didn't know that there was a movie called The Great Mouse Detective. I didn't know that there's a movie called Oliver and Company, because those not so popular movies, they're not in Magic English. My knowledge for Disney movies were very limited to Magic English and those Disney magazines, and movies like The Black Cauldron, they're not really they didn't make it to the Disney programmings. There are Treasure Planet, which I grew up, with Treasure Planet, the early 2000s. I remember when Treasure Planet was brand new and watching the advertisement for McDonald's. I think at that time they would give us some toys, Ben robot toys. Yeah, those images are just so brilliant for me. And yeah, books like this one, and also more storybooks like this one. Yeah, it's just really intriguing for me, for my mind still being limited. Still, I couldn't watch the movies. So even when I got to junior high, I couldn't watch the majority of the Disney movie catalog. It was before the age of streaming, of course, so I couldn't watch those Disney movies. But as I mentioned before, when I could purchase the video CDs of Disney movies, especially those released during the mid 2000s, because Disney re-released the Platinum Edition for the classic. So I got the Jungle Book, the Platinum Edition of the Jungle Book. I got the 45th anniversary video CD of The Sword in the Stone. I think it was when I got surgery for removing my appendix. Yeah, I got yeah. Then I purchased those because I got some money from the siblings, for my relatives that were visiting, and then they gave me some money, and then I used the money to buy more Disney movies at the time. What else? Probably Up, some Disney Pixar films like Finding Nemo. Yeah, I purchased those movies, but still it was very, very limited, and I couldn't you know um, collect more. I became more obsessed, and yeah, in around 2000, I think it's the early 2010s, that was the time I could afford more DVDs, and I could afford to go further to search more and find more movies on physical media, to find more Disney movies and older Disney movies. I started to purchase. I could find The Great Mouse Detective, I think it was in 2012. So I watched The Great Mouse Detective for the very first time in 2012 when I was in senior high. So when people ask me, why are you still obsessed with animation even though you're in high school, it was because it's a long obsession of mine. It's a childhood dream of mine. I couldn't watch Home on the Range when it was brand new, and I only found that movie, I think, also around 2012. So that's the very first time I saw those movies, and I got very, very ecstatic because imagine you've been waiting for so long, and then finally it's there. You can have it, and you can watch that one. And because the DVD format, and also Disney often release the Platinum Edition and special editions. God bless whoever created the format DVD, because of special features we could have tons of special features, and God bless whoever curate the Disney Platinum Edition line, because they got so many special features. The backstage Disney was just amazing in the Platinum Edition, and I watched the behind the scene features of Sleeping Beauty, the Platinum Edition, and knowing the life of Ivan Earl, the life of the Disney animators, those like really inspire me. And then whenever I want to make an image, a picture, when I want to draw something, this I made this one before. It was before the age of AI, and so I made this one using hands, and the images and the color scheme, the style of the images here. It's just so inspired by Disney movies. When I made this one, I think about Ivan Earl. I think about take a look at that. I think about Tyra Swan from Bambi. I think about Mary Blair. I think about those Disney movies, Disney classics. This one in particular, I think I was inspired by Maleficent. It was just an amazing thing. And so Disney shapes my views on so many things, including my taste on art, my taste on music, just so many things. So it's engraved so deep in my mind. And so it's very difficult to forget how big Disney's influence in my life. And today I can, finally I can afford to buy more Disney movies on more formats. I started to buy Disney movies on VHS because as you can see inside this package of 101 Dalmatian, that family, my longing for Disney movies started in kindergarten, and so this is how families watch Disney movies back in the day, back in the mid and late 90s. So when I purchased Tarzan, especially when I purchased Tarzan on VHS, I was so happy because this was how people um, enjoy Tarzan. This was the best way to enjoy Tarzan back in 1999, because I remember Tarzan is the earliest movie that I could remember when it was brand new in the theater. So I remember vividly when Tarzan was just brand new. It was in the 1999, I think it was in 1999 or 2000. I remember that vividly. And I got the bootleg copy of that video CD of Tarzan. So yeah, I wanted this, and then I purchased more video CDs. I purchased more Blu-rays. I am fine with double dipping Disney titles. I don't mind having multiple Beauty and the Beast on multiple formats, on video CDs, on DVDs, on Blu-ray. I have Beauty and the Beast video CD, the Steelbook video CD, the tin case video CD of Beauty and the Beast. I keep that, and I have the standard video CD. I have the Diamond Edition DVD, the Special Edition DVD, and I have the Diamond Edition Blu-ray, and I'm fine with that. I have several copies of this one. I have the DVD and video CD version of this movie, The Princess and the Frog, but I still got this one on this DVD package. It was a 4-in-1 DVD packaging of this Disney Princess. I still got this one, and I'm fine with that because I'm really in love with Disney. And I do not do that with other studios. Take a look at that. Just looking at the images makes me happy. It triggers something in my mind that just it can bring me joy just to look at these images, these beautiful images from these movies. Brings back so many memories and so many longing that finally came true, even though it's very late. But yeah, I can now watch these movies anytime I want. This one as well, the Disney Pixar, I have them on individual DVD or Blu-ray packaging, but I still got this one. And this makes me happy just by looking at the images over there. Just an incredible images and packages because I really, really love Disney, and I do not have these for the DreamWorks animations. I do not have this one for Don Bluth animation. I do not have this one for any other studios, only Disney. So I'm fine with buying multiple copies of a single Disney movie as long as it's Disney because I know I'm going to watch that movie over and over and over again. The movies that I watch, most of the time, the movies that I can watch over and over again most of the time, let's say 7 out of 10, it's a Disney movie. I remember watching, I don't know, Bambi 2 when it was brand new in 2006. I watched the video CD of Bambi 2 until it broke. The video CD won't work anymore because I just watched that too many times. And we're talking about video CDs, it's basically DVD, it's not VHS, so it shouldn't degrade through time. But I just playing it so many times, it was just not normal, to be frank. I watched this movie nearly every single day. So probably, the I was in elementary school and taking it out and put it back to the packaging. Of course, doing that too many times can damage the video CD, perhaps, and that happened. The video CD of Bambi 2 is broken because of that. And some other video CDs of Disney that I watch over and over and over again. I think it was also I did the same thing with the third Harry Potter movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah. So that shows the obsession. And also because, when I watched that Bambi 2 video CD, they got the trailers for Tarzan 2, trailers for Everybody Loves Mickey, Everybody Loves Goofy and Donald. Even watching the trailers makes me happy because at the time, again, it's not accessible. I can't just watch all Disney movies that I want. This is not America. This is not Australia. This is not even Japan. It's not easy to find a proper Disney movie on physical media. And for someone who's in elementary school, longing for that is just so devastating. I remember looking at the image of Robin Hood. It was a children's magazine, and there's this advertisement for Robin Hood on DVD, and I couldn't afford that. I couldn't purchase that one, and it's so devastating. I look at the image of Robin Hood. He looks so happy on that image, and it says available now on video CD and on DVD, and I couldn't buy that one, and that is sad. And now I can have those movies. So I can say that my relationship with Disney movies it's closer compared to, let's say, my younger siblings who grew up during the age of streaming and during my adult years. I could buy those Disney movies already, so they could just watch the Disney movies even from when they were just toddlers, so they didn't have the same level of connection that I have with Disney movies. And being able to finally acquire and watch a Disney movie at that time because of the limitations, it was so gratifying. It was so special. It was so meaningful. Um, Today, it's just so different. So back in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, it was after the pandemic and after Disney released Disney Plus. What Disney did in my country is that they teamed up with the government-owned internet provider and cell phone provider in my country. So there's this the biggest internet provider, which also the biggest cell phone provider in my country in Indonesia. It was mostly owned by the government. It was owned by the government, and Disney teamed up with the government with this company, this internet provider company, to practically allow people to subscribe to Disney Plus without much of additional fee because it's also included in the bundle of that internet provider. So if you subscribe to these government owned internet provider, you will automatically have access to Disney Plus. And I already got that subscription for the internet provider, so I automatically got the Disney Plus. I just needed to install that application on my phone, and voila, I can watch Disney Plus. And I could watch like the entire catalog of the Disney animation and in Indonesian language. So throughout my life, from the 90s to the end of the distribution of physical media in Indonesia, Disney and the distributors, they almost never released a single DVD, a single physical media dubbed in Indonesian. So when I read images, not image, when I read comments from some of fellow collectors when they mentioned that in Hong Kong there are Disney titles dubbed in, Chinese, but there's never an occasion for Indonesian that those Disney movies were dubbed in Indonesian. So all of the DVDs and video CDs that I got of Disney movies, they're all English, the original language with Indonesian subtitles. And only like two titles perhaps is only Finding Dory and The Good Dinosaurs. Those two are the ones that I remember that are dubbed in Indonesian. It's only in the late stage of the physical media distribution in Indonesia, and that also creates a much bigger barrier, much more limitations for Indonesian to really consume Disney movies at the time, because not all kids they could and want to read the subtitles. So that's what Disney had in mind when they advertised Mulan in China, Mulan in Italy. They dubbed the movie in those languages so that the people, the children, can still watch those without reading the subtitles. But that didn't happen in my country, Indonesia. So it's, the barrier of entry is just so high for Disney movies. So it gives this high place of exclusivity for Disney. Anything related to Disney really back in the day, so before the age of the streaming platform. Today, everything is so it's so easy to find a Disney movie, and I almost cried when I watch Sleeping Beauty and also other Disney movies, The Lion King, dubbed in Indonesian in my own language on Disney Plus, and it is so easy to access those, and all is there. It opened up my horizon. Oh my God, this is the world that we're living in at the moment. It's no longer the world that I knew back then. So the exclusivity of a Disney product is no longer up there. It's like it's everybody can access that now, which I think is a good thing, because looking back when I was younger, I couldn't watch those Disney movies, and that was devastating. And kids today, they can enjoy all of these Disney movies and in their own language. It's just amazing. It's just fantastic. I imagine if this um, technology was already exist back then, I probably would be so happy because I could access those movies. But I do not know really, because the very thing that makes me so in love with Disney is because of the rarity of it. It's because I couldn't watch Disney every time I want to watch a Disney movie back then. That gives me this um, closer connection to Disney that I didn't have, or a lot of people do not have right now because of the ease of access. So they do not have this mystique, they do not have this connection to Disney, this obsession, which I don't know whether this is good or bad, but yeah, even my younger siblings, my Gen Z sibling, they do not have the same level of connection to the Disney movies the way I do with Disney movies, because they could just watch these anytime. There's nothing so special in it. There's no effort. They do not need effort to really watch these Disney movies, so they do not have the same level of memory that I have, or many other people my age living in my area at the time, struggling to watch the Disney movies. It was just the effort makes everything so much more special, and when we finally got it, we give our all of our attention to the movie. And back then we got now cell phones, of course. So when we watch the movie, everything is just for the movie. We just put all of our attention to the movie because it's just so special. We just waited for it for a very long time, and finally we got it now, and we won't waste our time for scrolling down. One, it's not available at the time. Second, of all this tiring endeavor to get the movie, now we're going to watch the movie because it's just so difficult to acquire that one. So I think that is the very reason why I feel so close to Disney products, to Disney animation, the Disney classics line from Snow White to the latest one. At the time of recording is Wish from 2023, and also it could explain why I am so against current Disney. Probably I sense something off even from back in 2014 when they released um, Maleficent. When they released, for example, these live action of 101 Dalmatians, I don't know, it felt genuine when they released this one. And also when they released Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton, Alice in Wonderland, I do think that that movie is a sequel to the animation, so it's a continuation of the animation. You remember when you watch Alice in Wonderland, the animation, this, yeah, this one Alice in Wonderland. At the end of the movie, it shows that Alice was sleeping, and it all is a dream. She went to the Wonderland. It was a dream. But in Tim Burton's live-action movie, it really say that when you watch Alice in Wonderland animation, it's not a dream; it's a reality. So the animation is it's a true story, and this is the next one. It's so different from Maleficent, in which when you watch Maleficent, at the end of the movie, there's this is spoiler. Comes. Aurora is the narrator in that movie, and she said that this is the true version of Sleeping Beauty. I know because I am the Sleeping Beauty. It means that the story that has been told for many many years is the wrong one, is the wrong version, meaning that the animation, the classic, is a false story. It's not true. It's a wrong story. It's a wrong version of the story. The true one is the Maleficent version. And I was like, how dare they they do that to Maleficent after I watched the Platinum Edition and then um, watching the backstage Disney documentary in the process of making Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent, how Disney wanted Maleficent to be the ultimate villain, not just a villain like the evil queen from Snow White, Queen Grimhild, or the coachman, or the Chernobyl on the Bald Mountain, or what else, or the Queen of Hearts. No, Maleficent needs to be the ultimate villain, and she is the ultimate villain. And looking at this movie treating Maleficent in such a way that it's just destroying Walt's vision, Walt Disney himself, Walt's vision is being destroyed like that. And a lot of people praise that movie, and probably that's the criticism that were addressed to me. They said that you love Disney, why you hate Maleficent movie? When most of the people they praise the movie. Most of my friends they love Maleficent, um, much more than they love the live action version of Cinderella. But which for me it's the other way around. I prefer the live action of Cinderella because it does not destroy anything from the animation. But I hate Maleficent because simply because of that. Because they claim that this is the true version. No, I prefer that if they create something new, something totally different, do not make any type of connection to the animation, that's fine. But because they specifically mention the connection, that is not fine by me because I love Disney so much. I do not want to see the legacy being destroyed that way. That's why I criticize the many of the live actions versions of Disney after that, and I criticize many of the Disney sequels and Disney animations afterwards because of my deep love for Disney. I do not want to see Disney to fall from grace. Not in terms of the I'm not talking about the Disney as a company, but Disney as this producer of art, their creative ways. I hate to see, but those um, works that inspired me so much throughout the years became something that I despise. I do not want to see that happen. So that's why I criticize Disney, the current Disney, say from the mid 2010s to 2020s and to this year, the time this video was recorded. So yeah, I think that is my story. Why I am obsessed with Disney movies, with Disney animation, and why I collect multiple Disney movies and even different copies. I'm fine with that. Lots of collectors, they double dip on so many movies, but I do not see myself as a collector who wants to double dip. Even I already mentioned that if I have a movie on video CD, I think I don't really feel the need to buy the DVD, and when I have the DVD, I don't feel the need to buy the Blu-ray if I already have the movie, because what really matters is the movie. That that is different for Disney movies, because as I mentioned before, I find joy just by looking at Disney images, especially the Disney classics. So when they got different package artwork, I feel compelled to buy that one because that really is a masterpiece for me. The artwork, everything is just beautiful about Disney, and then yeah, I need to have that one also, but not other studios, other movies. I don't think I got that. And I'm in love with animation in general. I love SpongeBob, of course. I love the Wild Thornberrys. It's just an incredible. Have you seen that movie, the Wild Thornberry movie from 2002? Or when did the last time you watched that movie? I think for me it's earlier in 2024. I rewatched that movie again. It's just a brilliant movie. And the song, the theme song, it's just so 2002. It's just so early 2000s. The song about father and daughter. That's just a brilliant, brilliant song, and I adore that. Watching the Wild Thornberrys movie again brings me back to the early 2000s. Oh, that simpler times. And also other Nickelodeon movies, that Rugrats, um, SpongeBob, bring so many memories, and also The Land Before Time, of course, huge memories from the early 2000s. An American Tale, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Thumbelina, Anastasia, so many memories from childhood, from early elementary school in 2000, 2001, and to those brilliant, wonderful memories, Balto, because I saw them when I was younger. And that gives such a huge impact, but still, they were accessible at that time. So there's no real massive effort to watch those movies. So I love them wholeheartedly, but not the way I love Disney. It was so difficult to acquire the Disney movies, and so when I finally got them, it feels so much special. And I'm in love with the style of Disney movies, with the animation styles of Disney movies. As I said before, I got bullied simply because I love the style of the animation, and I'm so obsessed. Not obsessed, really. I'm so influenced and inspired by the works of Ivan Earl, of Tyrus Wong, of other Disney artists, Wolfgang Rathamund, Ollie and Frank, and Andreas Deja, also just an incredible and talented artist. And so it's just so brilliant. So I really love the art of Disney animation. And I hope that Disney will continue to, you know, create more and more great animation. And we're not even talking about um, the battle between 2D and 3D animation. I don't think should I talk about that also. Yeah, if let's just dive a little deeper into this one, 2D versus 3D. So back in 2003, so people like myself and people in my generation, we witnessed the world when 3D was just new, and then 3D was just the exciting new thing with Shrek and with Monsters Incorporated, with those Pixar movies. Toy Story, A Bug's Life was very fascinating, but still, the early 2000s, the the majority of the animation, there was still 2D animation. Treasure Planet, Krong's New Groove, and Brother Bear, 2D animation. And if someone asks me which one do you prefer, if they ask me which one do you prefer, 2D or 3D animation, I will answer that in a heartbeat, 2D animation. The traditional animation is my pick for this one. It's just more beautiful, more gorgeous. I find beauty in the simplicity of Winnie the Pooh. If you take a look at the background animation of Winnie the Pooh, background painting of Winnie the Pooh, and also Bambi by Tyrus Wong, and also the Aristocats, just the simplicity of it, but at the same time, it's so detailed, and that just gives so many. I don't know. It just gives so many inspiration to me. It when I look at those artwork, I also this also includes other artworks like Peter Rabbit. If you watch the Peter Rabbit animation, which is so there's some warmth in it that I love, and I feel such longing for those works of art. And so, yeah, I chose 2D animation, but we witnessed the battle. Really, the battle was really took place in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, and the peak of the battle was in 2003 when Disney released, Pixar released Finding Nemo, and Disney released Brother Bear, and DreamWorks released Sinbad. So during the making of Sinbad, the producer Katzenberg, he said that there's still huge opportunity, with 2D animation. And when he made Spirit, he said that 3D animation could not, you know, mimic the feeling, the warmth of 2D animation, because there's nothing compared to an artist creating the images himself or herself with a pencil, and on that paper the emotion that's involved in it is just so big, and 3D couldn't do that just yet. But in 2003, when all 2D animation got defeated by one and only Finding Nemo, that's it. I'm not saying that Finding Nemo is a bad movie. Certainly, it's a brilliant movie, but that's just what happened in the history of animation. Back in 2003, there's this huge battle between 2D and 3D, and finally, 3D won the battle. DreamWorks finally stopped making any 2D animation and focus on 3D, and the next year, Shrek 2 becomes a very popular movie and very successful one. So they don't see any positives from making 2D animation anymore. But in 2004, Disney was still convinced that 2D is something different. It offers something different from 3D. So they released still Home on the Range, even though, of course, the production began long before 2004, but it was released in 2004. So I said Brother Bear marked the defeat of 2D animation, but Home on the Range marked the death of 2D animation as a major event. We can still find 2D animation today, of course, but it's just not the same. Not just it's not the same level of attention, same level of craftsmanship compared to the Disney movies, say from the Renaissance era, from the 90s. You can't compare today's 2D animation to Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King or Mulan and Tarzan. It's a different thing. Even in 2011 and 2009, when Disney released the Princess and the Frog, in 2011 when they released Winnie the Pooh, it's not the same. It's a totally different world, totally different era, and the feel of the 2D animations, it's different. Even when I watch the Princess and the Frog, I can see that there are just a huge amount of 3D implemented in that movie, and that's just, I don't know, that somehow turned me off from enjoying The Princess and the Frog 100%. But yeah, that is just another story of why I am so close to Disney, especially the Disney animation, the Walt Disney Animation Studios films, released from 37 with Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Bambi, Dumbo, Saludos Amigos, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, The Jungle Book, those movies, you name it. Even The Black Quadrant, I love it. Even The Rescuers Down Under, I love it. Those are just incredible Disney movies for me personally. So I think that is all. The story, my journey of collecting, of watching Disney movies, acquiring the movies, finally watching the movies, the struggles to find and watch Disney movies at that time, and the ubiquity and the ease of access of Disney today, and making the experience, I did say, somewhat disposable compared to back then, the struggle. I'm not saying that back then it was so much better. Definitely, it was so difficult. Today's, to me, looks so much better because it's so easy to find one. But there's just something missing from that, and I am glad that I grew up during that era of such scarcity, of such rarity, that it brings something so special. It brings so many memories, also creating so many memories. When they advertise the Disney physical media, Disney movies creating new memories. Back then it was so true. To create new memories, you really creating new memories. I remember using Windows 95 or 98 with my friends, playing around with Tarzan video CDs in kindergarten. I remember asking my neighbor, very shy, being brave, trying to be brave, to ask my neighbor, who at the time got a video CD player so that I could watch Dinosaur on video CD. It was back in the late 90s or early 2000s. It was just, and I could remember that moment vividly in my mind. I can play it over and over again. It's like when you watch Inside Out and there's this memory that's part of the core memories. You know, watching those Disney movies on physical media in the late 90s and early 2000s was just amazing. I envy my friends who got the access to Disney movies at that time. I don't know, and I don't think they got the same level of appreciation for Disney movies as I am, because they got the Disney movies so easily compared to what I experienced. But that is just my story of why I am so in love. I'm so obsessed with Disney because it's just so influential for me, for my life, and for you know, it's part of the reason of me as me. When you say that this is what makes Disney Disney, this is what makes me me, part of it is because of those Disney movies, story of Walt Disney himself, the artist, those just incredible stories. And yeah, that is my um thoughts on Disney and the reason why I am so in love with Disney. And that is all I think that I wanted to share with you at this very moment. This is just my personal story. So if you're still with me up until this moment, I imagine it's a long talk. Because this is not scripted again, I sincerely say thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.